go. Alright everyone, hello and welcome to this Game Replay Shoutcast. I'm Yawning Angel, and with me today we've got Iron Root from S2 Games, so obviously big thank you to him for appearing on this cast as our special guest, and today we're covering a high level in-house played, mainly EU players, got some US players as well, some fairly well known clans here, MSI, Fresh Pro, K and Rexy, Fogged from SK Gaming. For those of you who don't know, that's 5 SK, finally picking up 5 as a sponsor, 5 having been sponsorless for the greater part of their history and not having quite found the right people for them, but now choosing to settle down with SK, so seeing Fogged representing that tag there. I don't think I've got anyone else from here. And finally the only other really well known teams I've got seeing here, just the one player, Overpower from KDE, Empire obviously represented by Phoebe, very famous player, Blow Your Brain stroke Phoebe in Dota, and obviously very well known indeed thanks to having played for Virtus.pro there, and AMX Zaku from DWI, who I've not seen, but DWI, at least personally anyway, but DWI really coming onto the competitive scene recently, winning one of the GR tournaments. I think they've won one of the Honcast tournaments as well, so definitely making their mark there, and I think we can probably expect to see some pretty good play from AMX Zaku as well. I mean, Root, do you know any of these players particularly well? Seen anything of them?
Well, Rexy, Overpower, Favy, K, I mean, Fogged, Fresh Pro, I mean, they're all pretty well known, so, yeah.
Yeah, and it has to be said, fairly interesting pool we've got to work with. Quite a lot of decently powerful heroes. We've got obviously Arachna and Forsaken Archer, both seen a lot of light and competitive play recently. The newly buffed Madman actually already meriting a ban. Engineer, been nerfed, he's actually been left in the pool this time around, but still very strong in terms of the intellect here. It's got Soul Reaper, not obviously he did have Soul Reaper very strong, but he's now been banned, so we can effectively forget him. But also Plague Rider in there, and the other heroes there pretty decent. That'll bring us seen a bit of play, but I think we've seen MSI use Torture in the past, and that was Trixie, not Rexy, so we probably won't be seeing that as a pickup. I don't think any of these players very well known with Torture, but Torture nonetheless pretty useful. And Puppet Master still nerfed, but quite good. And obviously Pyromancer, he does generally fit best into the double stun lane with Pyromancer and Magnus. Magnus ban probably going to take him out of this game, but we might see him being picked up nonetheless. Still a very useful ganker. And finally on the strength heroes, got a fairly decent draft. Gauntlet obviously pretty overpowered at the point, I'd say. I mean, I'd have to ask Root for a better opinion about that, but so far as I know, Gauntlet's widely considered to be more powerful than he should be, and I can't really see anything particularly wrong with a Gauntlet ban. And Magnus taking the other ban, obviously got that great ganking ability from Lava Surge, pretty decent ultimate as well, providing you can farm up a fast portal key. Pretty well deserving of a ban, especially with Pyromancer in the pool. Anything particularly stand out to you about these bans, right?
No, they look pretty standard to me. Yeah, as far as Gauntlet goes, I don't think he was really tested enough before being a non-dev hero, because he was redone quite a bit, and yeah, so completely worthy of a ban right there.
Obviously, the other big hero that had big rework this patch is Rampage. We've seen KDE Gaming using Rampage to great effect against Empire Multigaming it was. So I mean, we've definitely seen some great things from Rampage in the past. Do you think that was just Hanny coming up with a really good bit of play in the solo mid role that he normally favours, or do you think that Rampage has been pretty comprehensively buffed and might see some play here as well?
I think we still need to see more Rampage play to really know exactly how effective he is, because it could just people being not sure how to counter him right now, so he might not be as powerful as he really is. Just time will tell.
Absolutely. We do actually have KDE Hanny as a spectator in this game, currently just watching it, so while he's not playing, he might possibly give them hints, I don't know. But Hanny, I can't really say he's an authority on it, but he's the only competitive player we've seen using the new Rampage, so obviously I would probably look to him in his building, giving an idea of how to do that. But it doesn't look like we're going to see a Rampage pick up. Team's pretty set so far, nothing major flexible. Last ban I'd like to talk about before we get on to the picks, this Madman ban. I can't see he did it without scrolling up. I'll have a quick look there, but I mean the Madman ban, it actually came out from the second pick team, so Hellborn worried that they might actually pick up Madman as a first pick. Madman actually received a bit of a questionable buff. His barrel roll was changed from a 1.5 second stun to a 4 second scaling slow, and not a scaling slow, that's a complete lie. I think the damage and mana costs were buffed a bit as well. I mean, what do you think of that? I mean, is it a concrete buff? Is it a slight buff? And do you think it really merits him being nerfed right up? Not nerfed right up, banned right up?
I don't know. There's a lot of different opinions on Madman. I haven't played him myself since the last patch, so I really don't know. Um, Basically, what we were trying to do was to give him a specific role because he was sort of a ganker or carry, and make him fit more into one of the two roles rather than be both.
Yep, teams are pretty much set in stone. We have actually seen that Torture being picked up. Fresh Pro playing that. I believe he's not the normal player. I think it's Trixie normally plays Torture when MSI use him, but Fresh Pro played a few of the other Intellect semi-carries as well. I've seen him on Defiler and Soul Reaper, so it's a role he's fairly well used to. He should fit fairly nicely into that Torture. Apart from that, we've got an Infora, Forsaken Archer, Pebbles, and Rampage. So going for a fairly gank-heavy lineup. Obviously, Forsaken Archer really good in that middle lane, able to dominate that even with her nerfed Crippling Volley and Skeleton combo. Pebbles and Nymphora, decent lane. Once Pebbles is fueled with mana, he can threaten a lot of kills, but it is very, very vulnerable to harassment and burst killing. And Rampage and Torture, a bit of a wildcard lane. Guessing they're trying to use Rampage as a sort of stun partner for Torture, let him land his Impale stun. Have to see how that works out. But this Legion side definitely going for a really bit of an aggressive ganking lineup, and similarly, fairly aggressive ganking lineup from the Hellborn. Got Engineer, Witch Slayer, and Thunderbringer for that. Plague Rider and Kronos as sort of babysit lane. So definitely we have to see both these teams to roam the map lane to get these ganks off early and indeed keep them up as we move into the middle and late game. I think that is going to be the big decider for this match, but I don't think there can be much argument if this goes on. Rexy playing that Kronos, it isn't his normal role, it's not the role we normally see him play, but nonetheless I'm pretty sure he'll be able to comfortably out-carry Forsaken Archer and Torturer, since I think Rampage's semi-carry ability was pretty deliberately removed in the last patch, and without any since he no longer has a percent proc on his bash, he effectively doesn't scale with items at all, which has pretty much removed his ability to semi-carry. Not that he was a great semi-carry anyway, so having seen that nerf to Rampage, well, not nerf to Rampage, obviously a buff to Rampage, but a nerf to his carrying capacity, don't think there can be much argument about Rexy's Kronos being able to carry this Hellborn team. So, Root, what do you think of the teams overall, that is?
Well, I'm a real bit interested in the Nymphora pickup. She did have a change last patch. I'm not sure exactly what it did. I know it removed the stun. Now it's like a damage-based ability. But she's still quite a squishy hero. Might be food for some of these bursty heroes on the Hellborn side, like Witch Slayer could pick her off instantly. So could Thunderbringer pretty much.
Absolutely, and Nymphora got a very, very low HP pool, and that is one of the hero's big weaknesses. She's really, really vulnerable to burst killing power. If you're not careful with her, you can definitely end up being picked off early, and that can be a big flaw in Nymphora as a player. I mean, on the other hand, she is in a lane with Pebbles, SK, Fog playing that with K, I think, and essentially I'm pretty sure that K is going to have, I mean, I would imagine he's going to be able to keep this Nymphora alive simply because Pebbles has a stun of his own and has a toss. He should be able to keep the enemy off her. Might actually be seeing a tri-lane coming out from the Legion side though. Got Zaku, AMX Zaku, playing that Rampage, and that should work fairly well as a tri-lane. Rampage got that Stampede to initiate. Pebbles obviously not going to have his stun combo at level 1, but nonetheless a pretty hefty stun in the form of Stalagmites. If they can land a good Nymphora pod, I believe he's skilled Nymphora pod he has, should be able to do that. Meanwhile, that's going to leave a solo Torturer. That's fairly decent. I've seen MSI do that in the past. I think the Runespawn bottom, the Hellborn, actually not going to pick that up. Running a dual lane mid, Kronos and Plague Rider, but neither of them choosing to take that double damage. I don't know if they're expecting to take Forsaken Arch down anyway, but if they do, might be a bit disappointed. Got Zaku lurking in the woods. Don't think he's going to go in for anything. And one of the spectators in this particular replay actually timing out, so give him a few minutes, and if not, obviously this is a replay cast, can just skip it. Snaking, Witch Slayer pretty much making the point, pausing for an obs. However, as above, this is a semi-competitive match, obviously an in-house game, and it really just wouldn't be a competitive game if we didn't have an obligatory pause. So yeah, a bit of chat about the Neva event. Obviously had a bit of a scandal in that recently, but we're not going to go on to that, try to sort of focus on things. I mean, in terms of lanes, Rich, is anything particularly interesting here? Got a decent double stun lane bottom, Witch Slayer and Thingy Engineer probably might put some decent pressure on Fresh Pro playing that Torture. Have to see how that works out. Mid lane should be, again, fairly decent problems for Ulf the Great. Not heard of him ever, to be quite honest. Playing that Forsaken Archer. Spectator comes back, and finally, only lane that might conceivably favour the